You wanna get away, you better get in line. Won't go another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no filter.
Guys, what is going on? I'm John Anthony. You are watching Chair Shot Sports. It's Saturday. That can only mean one thing, and that is Saturday night's main event is back, baby. Back. I have been so excited for this show for weeks. We're going to talk about why today, guys. So hopefully everyone had a great week. Hopefully you're getting your shopping done, getting ready for the holidays with the little ones, with your loved ones. Happy holidays, whether it's Kwanzaa, whether it's Hanukkah, whatever you're celebrating. Hopefully you guys are getting ready to have an amazing, amazing holiday. So, guys, we're here. Saturday night's main event, a staple back in the 80s and 90s. Big time show. A lot of title matches would happen on this show. So obviously now that TKO and the merger is good, this show I think will not disappoint in the least. The matches that we have here look amazing. We're going to crown a new women's United States champion. We have titles on the line from both Raw and from SmackDown. It's going to be great. I know it. Let's jump into the action. So I'm going to start off in no particular order, obviously moving up to the main event we're all waiting for, that we all want to talk about. Everyone's got an idea about what's going to happen tonight. All right, guys, let's just start with Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. This match is going to be good. I think Sami is getting a little grit to him, getting a little upset, fighting a little more aggressively, a little more of a mean streak in him. I like it. He's anything short of him like cutting his hair back in his NXT days. When him and KO would, when they first started feuding down there. Drew McIntyre has got to be a front runner for the 2024 Superstar of the Year in the men's division. He has to be. It has nothing to do with title runs, but the way that he took his character starting at the beginning of the year in January, and here we are in December. McIntyre and Punk set the bar for rivalries this year in how just personal and much of a vendetta they both had against each other. It just is wild to me. I think Drew is doing amazing work, coming back, assaulting everyone from the OG bloodline. Eventually, I think Drew's going to get his hands on Roman down the road, and that is going to be cinema. But before we get there, he's got to take on Sami Zayn. Obviously, Drew, this past week on SmackDown, took out Jimmy. This match, I want to give it to Drew. Now, I think there may be a CM Punk sighting or some sort of interference in some way, shape, or form from CM Punk, but I don't think it's enough to take the win from Drew. Drew needs a win here. The whole Punk interfering, costing him matches a little played out, especially after the Hell in a Cell match. So I think it's not going to be clean. People are going to interfere. But I do think we do see a CM Punk sighting. Maybe his music plays. Maybe he doesn't even come off the ramp. Something like that. But I do think Drew gets the win here. It's something he needs it built. He needs to get a W here to kind of bolster his dominance and the violent mean streak that he's on right now, taking out the bloodline and just his ascent into going for a world title. So Drew McIntyre, I got walking away with a W here and going on to great things, especially with that kind of momentum moving into the Royal Rumble. And then we have, guys, Chelsea Green and Michin to crown the first ever Women's United States champion. The bracket was awesome. I think it was a great tournament. They did very well who they picked. But I got to go with a fan favorite here at Chair Shot Sports. Chelsea Green, baby. She is getting this win. Chelsea deserves this. I've talked about it for months. This woman has gone out there, reinvented her character when she was pretty much laid out there with no creative, nothing to do, and made the fans, as much as they love to boo her, love to watch her on a weekly basis. When she did win, the crowd was cheering. They loved it. So I think the payoff and the reward here, I'm not saying it's going to be a 5, 6, 7 month run here with this belt. I really hope the women's mid-card is something that's not transferred every month, but definitely is changing hands to keep it interesting. And then, here or there, a dominant reign to make a champion look obviously undeniable. But Chelsea Green here, Misha, it sucks for me to have to say that again. Another person, she perseveres. She's always there week after week, and definitely a deserving suitor for that belt as well. But I think as a payoff, as a brass ring to Chelsea Green, who has worked her ass off to make this character work, whether it was on Raw, whether it was on SmackDown, Chelsea has put in the work and deserves. We got to start somewhere, right? A mid-card title, and I think this is it. Chelsea Green wins the Women's United States inaugural title, and it's going to be such a good time to watch her on TV with this belt, getting her ass booed out of buildings. And the cool thing is, there's a lot of faces in the mid-card that are in the back lining up if she wins this belt. Lining up a lot of challengers. Obviously, Chelsea, I'm sure, is going to be a defending champion, whether she wants to or not, because Nick Aldis will make sure she's defending that belt week after week. So that's going to be awesome to see. But I'm pumped for it. I think it's going to be good. So Chelsea Green here gets the win. Your new inaugural Women's United States Champion. So let's start the championship run, guys. We got 3 of them. 3 big ones. Let's start with, while we're on the women, let's stay with them and talk about them. But let's jump over to Raw. Liv Morgan, Io Sky for the World Heavyweight Women's Championship for Raw. This match is going to be good, guys. It's going to be good. Io can obviously go in the ring. Liv has gotten better, I think, on the mic. A little better in the ring. Obviously, she has the Oblivion down. Just has to work on some spots, some things here and there in the ring, but getting better week after week as she gets more and more time in the ring with other wrestlers, other move sets, and just getting her hands on other people, in different kind of rivalries. Io Sky, again, amazing NXT Women's Champion, can get it done. Amazing tag team champion, but unfortunately, tonight is not the night. Now, obviously, this can go a lot of different ways. I have 3 names that could be some way interfere in this match. I don't think it makes Liv lose the belt. It's either going to be a DQ, which you don't want. And that's the other thing, too. I was looking at these matches, trying to predict them and see what's going to happen. This is the first time Saturday night's main event has been on in a while. Like I mentioned earlier in the show, that since TKO has taken over, it's a nostalgia act. Oh yeah, a lot nation. If you watch the previews, they're talking about nationwide. They want all eyes in prime time on a Saturday night watching this show at 8:00. On NBC, not Peacock, NBC. And I think to have matches going where people are interfering and costing people wins, I guess the casual fan is going to go, oh, that's how they do it in wrestling. I think what we're doing here is you have 3 great titles on the line. We're crowning an inaugural champion and an awesome grudge match between Sammy and Drew. It's intriguing to a lot of people on the outside looking in. And I really think that you want matches here to go over and showcase the talent. Of course, you got to put in a little pepper, of interference and just kind of building storylines while still catering to people tuning in going, what is this? Or the kids going, Mom, Dad, can we watch this? That aren't getting the PLEs, that don't have Peacock. That maybe they watch AEW and it's the first time they're going to check out WWE, right? You want to show a great product, but also showcase the talent, but also build the storylines. So there's 2 big names right now. One that a lot of people have forgotten about is Becky Lynch. No one knows. Was there a contract extension? Why did she leave? Is she going to AEW? Is she just love being a mom and doesn't want to come back? Doesn't need to come back. Becky Two Belts accomplished everything she needed to do in WWE. She did everything. She grand slammed. She did everything. But what a time to come back and make a splash. Then tonight, if the music hits, comes down. Now it could be after Liv wins, kind of makes herself known. The other big name, the sexy pick, she's on everyone's minds right now. We're seeing the return vignettes. Everyone's awaiting it. We know she's cleared from injury. The one, the only, the queen, Charlotte Flair. Everybody's hoping for it. I don't want to get too far into this and start giving away predictions, but I guess I'll throw it out there now. Charlotte Flair is my pick to win the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble. A dark horse is also Jade Cargill coming back from injury, but I really think Charlotte comes back and wins the Rumble just because that's like how to do things. I would love to see an up-and-coming person win it. I would love to see that, but that's how they do these things with the grandeur and the return stuff. One or two mystery people. Charlotte makes her return, and she wins the whole thing. So she could come out tonight. And what a way to get people talking about Saturday night's main event than to put Charlotte on. And the biggest thing you have to remember, too, when we're talking about these matches is there's another Saturday night main event in January, right? And there's, I think, 3 more over the course of 2025. So you want this to be unpredictable. You want big names to come back. You want returns, people you wouldn't expect. Excuse me. And you want people to tune in with an unpredictability of this show. So again, I say all that to say I think Liv Morgan walks away as your women's world heavyweight champion, but somewhere, somehow, there's going to be someone coming out. Whether Rhea Ripley could come out and try and interfere, maybe she comes and knocks out Io Sky and it's a DQ. Which I hate to say that because we're already talking about people coming out in the Drew McIntyre Sami Zayn match. But I think it's going to be a lot of clean matches tonight, which I'm hoping for. But Liv Morgan goes over here, holds onto the belt. But I do think we could see a big name come back after she wins. The music hits, people go nuts. It's a talking point moving forward into the end of the year into the Royal Rumble. So let's stay over on Raw. Let's talk about the Triple Threat Men's World Heavyweight Championship match. We have Gunther, Damian Priest, and Finn Balor. Now a triple threat thrown in last week, made by Adam Pearce. I love the fact that it's a triple threat. Obviously, anytime that you see a match made as a triple threat or booked as that, it's always a chance for the champion to lose their belt, because obviously you can lose still coming out looking good if you didn't take the pin. Other people involved. It's always a claim from the ex-champion. Hey, you didn't beat me. You're doing triple threat. Yada yada yada. But I can't see Gunther losing here. And here's the thing: you can't have a lot of belts being lost on TV, right? You can have one. You can't have, like, the major championships need to really be lost to PLEs, right? And I think Gunther has really been booked. If it's going to happen, I think it's going to happen at Mania. And Gunther can afford to lose that, still come out being the longest reigning IC, having an amazing World Heavyweight title run at this moment right now. Amazing. Again, talking about someone who's done an amazing job with their character. Woo! Awesome stuff. Damian Priest and Finn Balor, obviously them being in there, it's going to be a grudge match with them being in there at the same time. They've already had their Hell in a Cell match. But that's kind of starting to wear its way thin as well. My thought process is, if we're going to have interference, this would be the match because it makes sense. Obviously, with Judgment Day, Gunther, you have Imperium. I think somehow, some way, someone comes to try to help Finn. They hit Priest, maybe hit Finn instead of Priest. Gunther picks up the win. A lot of moving parts in this match. A lot of moving parts. I think Gunther gets the win here. Gunther walks away still your World Heavyweight Champion. I do want to predict that I think we see a Goldberg appearance here. I think it's after the match, or it could be in the back maybe. I think after the match, he's parading around. He's beat up. I think Goldberg jumps the ramp, comes down, jumps the rail, comes down the ramp, spears Drew, and then we set up Saturday night's main event in January. Or you're looking at a World Heavyweight Championship match at the Royal Rumble, Gunther taking on Goldberg. So that's also something that could happen as well. But again, Gunther, I have walking away still your Raw World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this was going to take up the meat and potatoes of this show. Everyone's been talking about it for weeks. The WWE Universal title match between Kevin Owens and the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. So surprised, if you look at X, you watch YouTube, every talking head right now, myself, everybody else who has a podcast that involves wrestling, has an opinion on what's going to happen. And I'm sure some of the things I'm going to say are redundant. If you watch wrestling, everyone wants to be a fantasy booker. Everyone wants to do it. And only a handful of us get it right, you know? There's a lot of stuff to go here. So where do we start? So why should Cody lose the belt? Let's start there, right? Well, let's say, you know what? Let's go the other way. Cody, what happens if Cody wins the belt? Cody wins the belt. That's exactly it. Where do we go? You just took a month to build up probably some of KO's best work since being a Ring of Honor, being the vigilante, standing up for everyone in the back, calling out Cody as being the turncoat and the wolf in the sheep's clothing that nobody else sees, but Kevin sees it. Kevin sees what Cody really is. And some of the mic work from both of these guys, especially Kevin Owens, has been amazing. amazing work. Where do we go if KO loses? You do all that. Now, I know we do it a lot. WWE does it a lot where they build up this character. They put up a massive story where how can this person lose? And they still lose. Well, I just don't think it happens this time. Where do you put KO? It's too early for a KO Randy Orton rivalry, I think. You're pulling the trigger too quick on that. You need to make it worth something for Randy. Randy needs to take something from Kevin Owens. So with that being said, let's go to what we do here, right? So does he beat Cody Rhodes, right? Well, it's got to be Cody Rhodes because The Rock, right? The Rock's filming right now. Might be around for WrestleMania. Might be around in time. We don't know. Obviously, it's The Rock. He shows up. Dwayne Johnson shows up, calls the shots, and comes down from the board and says, I want to do this, and they do it. And they pivot, and they morph, and they do what they got to do to get The Rock onto the card. Roman right now is totally tied up with bloodline stuff. Totally tied up with that. Now he's already Roman already threw down the challenge, Netflix on January 6th. So that's already talking about that. Now you're probably going to the Rumble. Both guys get into the Rumble. Looking at Elimination Chamber probably. I don't think Cody ties into anything to do with Roman until after Mania. Randy and Cody doesn't make sense right now. Because obviously we all know the Randy peeking at the belts. Obviously we're waiting for the teacher versus student kind of moment coming, right? It's too early right now. They're both faces. Randy's going to come back as a huge face. To have him come out and attack Cody, you're wasting the storyline of the Kevin Owens Randy Orton rivalry, and that's what you want right now, which makes perfect sense. Randy has unfinished business after the pile drive with Kevin Owens, right? So paint the picture. Cody loses the belt to KO. Now KO is champion. He's going to carry that into the Royal Rumble. Do we get a Cody versus KO rematch, a Saturday Night Main Event in January, or do we hold it up to the Rumble in February? Right? Now Cody's chasing. Cody has always been an amazing face when he's chasing the belt against a huge heel. Huge. Always been amazing at doing that. Gets the crowd into it. They're invested in another story, if you will. Did an amazing job for 2 years with Roman. But the way I see this is like, and then Cody's got to go into the chamber. He loses the match against KO. He loses the rematch. Whether Kevin Owens does it nefariously or there's an interference, something happens. Cody loses his match at Royal Rumble. Now he's going to enter the chamber. He gets in the chamber, loses the chamber. Now Cody doesn't have a WrestleMania, and that kind of leaves him to go. That's kind of hanging Cody out there because you want Cody versus Rock, or we're literally just to throw away everything that happened the night after WrestleMania last year, or this year, I should say. So we need to run that back, and I think that's why you got to kind of float Cody around a little bit to see what's going on with Dwayne. So if Dwayne can come back, you get those two fighting. No belt is needed between Cody and The Rock. That storyline is going to make itself. There's so much behind that stemming from when Rock came and wanted to take his spot. So all that stuff aside, Randy comes back after KO wins the belt. Tonight, Randy comes back. KO's like, you're not getting a shot at this. Get the hell out of here. I'm like, you think I'm going to give you one? I don't think so. Maybe we get main event, but I think Randy enters the Royal Rumble. Randy wins the Royal Rumble. Now, you're going to have Randy versus KO at WrestleMania 41. Randy gets his one more title run, his one more title opportunity, wins the belt, has one more great run before kind of going fully part-time. And the best thing is the night after WrestleMania, here comes Cody Rhodes, and now you get what we talked about earlier, the student versus teacher classic storyline. You get those two together, and then we go on a run. We can definitely get at least a trilogy between the two of them. At least. That probably culminates a SummerSlam between the two of them. KO probably interferes in one of them. Someone else interferes. Maybe Roman interferes in the second one, so Roman get a shot. Depending on what's going on with the portal and Raw and who ends up where. There's a lot of things. That's the other thing too with calling this too. This just transfer portal open, and we're on the cusp of Netflix debuting an amazing Raw going forward. That roster is going to be filled. And Netflix, I'm sure, wants a good amount of people. And that's the SmackDown wants a lot of people as well, which is why we're doing the transfer portal, not a draft. But the thing is, Cody can take an L here. and still be hot. Come out the next night, still getting cheered. Well, guys, what do you want to talk about? We didn't get the job done. Maybe we get the rematch of Saturday night's main event, right? In January. Maybe we go there and then he loses there. You know what I mean? Randy comes out. Cody's like, no, I got my shot first. And Randy's like, okay, well, whichever one of you wins, maybe we do a number one contenders match or something like that. We don't want to gift it to Randy. But I really think the end result here is Cody losing the belt to Kevin Owens. And the biggest thing too, before I don't want this to be forgotten about and not talked about. This right here. The Winged Eagle. This, I think, has convinced so many people that Cody's just going to win because he has the Winged Eagle. This did it for me. When I saw this presented and Triple H was like, one night only. And he was like, you can have this. That, for me, did it, where I was like, oh, my God. How perfect is this? How perfect is this scenario and this setup? Cody is walking into Saturday night's main event as the Universal Champion. Undisputed champion, I apologize. With the Winged Eagle, right? How better can it be? How much better can it get for Cody? In his moment, in his element, to beat down the foe, the heel of Kevin Owens, to strike him down. But he loses. And it's okay. Kevin needs this win. This is the best Kevin Owens that we've seen in a long time. He just re-upped the contract. And it's not going to be a long run. He's going to lose it at WrestleMania. But you're giving Kevin Owens a 4-month run, right? As world champion. Hasn't touched the belt since world gold since the Universal title, right? That he was gifted on Raw, right? So I mean, it makes all the sense for him not to win. This is perfect. Like if it was just a regular match, he was coming out like, okay, Cody's gonna, still win. Okay, when this got introduced, this is too perfect for KO to walk around with the wing belt and throw it in Cody's face. Look what I took from you. You couldn't even keep this. I have it now. It's a no-brainer, guys. I mean, he's hot. KO's hot right now. Uber heel. And that's what we need right now. That's television. And has Cody Rhodes' run as undisputed champion been great? Depends on who you talk to. Has it been good? Absolutely. But KO can be the guy to you defended the belt as much as you could. You've held on to it for a long time since you took down Roman, but you couldn't beat me. And that's going to leave the breadcrumbs down the road for between those two one more time down the road. Maybe a rematch, but KO's going to retain. And then Randy and Cody. KO will pop up again between Cody and KO will happen again. It'll be a lot on the line. A lot of meat will be left on that bone. But again, it's the question I guess I ask myself, which I look at this, is where do we go if Cody wins? You've just you shat all over the KO character. As powerful, as great as he was, he couldn't turn the trick. What are we going to do? Another Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes match in January? No one wants to see that. It's not as great. Randy Orton's not going to come out. Yeah, he can come out maybe and then turn face right away. The KO, I guess what it is, the KO Randy Orton storyline is so juicy. And then you add the title for it. Randy's thirsty for one more run. He said that he wants one more run before he calls it a day. And who better than KO to hold that belt? And it goes back to when they were a tag team and how much they had each other's back and just goes on and on and on. It's just, there's so much meat on that bone and there's so much opportunity that can happen with that. It's just. So my prediction tonight, hope the kids aren't up for it, hope they're sleeping, but a lot of dreams are going to get wrecked this holiday season because I really think Kevin Owens is walking out of Saturday night's main event out of Long Island, New York, baby, as the WWE undisputed heavyweight champion. Mark it down, baby. I'm telling you, it's going down. It's the only way that makes sense. Is it going to happen? Maybe Cody mollywops him and we get some interference from somebody else I'm not even thinking about, and Cody walks away as champion, which would be great. But I think Kevin Owens winning is best for business. So, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me on this ride. Thank you so much. Again, happy holidays to everybody. Do stay tuned for later on tonight. We're going to do a live reaction show to Saturday Night Main Event. All the action that goes down. We're going to be live at 11:30 tonight here on X and on YouTube as well. So stay tuned for that. So with that being said, guys, get your popcorn, get a cold beverage, and enjoy tonight's Saturday Night Main Event.